students, welcome back to your English class. Children, I hope you all are safe and fine at your places and you all are taking all the precautions which are required in this scenario. Students, today we are going to start your next chapter of grammar, that is the phrases and the clauses. Let's understand from examples. Children, if I ask any of the student, where are the other children of your class? And you simply reply, in the playground, in computers lab. So by listening in the playground, in computers lab, I will get my answer. But did you use a complete sentence to answer me? Of course not. Phrases. If I ask, where are my books? And someone replies, on the table, on the chair. So on the table, on the chair, do they have? Are they called complete sentences? No, my dear children. So just after listening a small group of words which gives a clue, but it cannot be called a complete sentence, that is called a phrase. It will not have a subject-verb combination, but still it gives the information about the question. It answers the query anyhow. Now, let's talk about clauses. In clauses, the major difference is that there will be subject and verb combination. In a sentence, there can be one or more than one clauses. The major difference is in phrase we will not have a subject verb combination, but in clause we will have a subject and verb combination. So in this video lecture we are going to understand the definition of phrases and the types, which are noun phrase, adjective phrase and adverb phrase. In the same way, clauses, definition of clauses, types, which are main clause and subordinate clause, and further subordinate clause is divided into three subparts, that are noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause. Please focus on the text and let's understand in detail. So students, good morning. Today's topic is the clause. Children, we have already completed the phrases and its types. Now we are going to understand the clauses. The very first thing, students, you need to understand, then in phrases we don't get a subject and a verb combination. We neither get a predicate or object, but yes, in clause we always have a group of words that has a subject and a predicate forming a sentence or part of a sentence. Now look at the examples which are given here. Samita sings. It is a complete clause because it has subject as well as verb. Samita sings a song. Subject, verb and object also. In another, Samita sings a song and Ravita sweeps the floor. In this, we have a subject, verb and object. In another part of the sentence also, the same thing is there. So obviously students, Samita sings a song is a clause and Ravita sweeps the floor is a clause because they both have a subject, verb and object. So always remember students that a clause may stand as a simple sentence or may join another clause to make a sentence. Further, the examples which are given here, they all are clauses because they have subject and verb. The students laughed. Who are sitting on the last bench? The man became angry. They can stand alone. They have a subject, either they have a subject or a verb or an object in the sentence. So they are called a complete clause. The door opened. So what comes the definition? A clause is a group of words forming a part of a sentence having a subject and a predicate of its own. Clauses can be divided into two classes. Which two classes? One is main clause, another is subordinate clause. Students, a main clause expresses a complete thought and can be used on its own as a sentence. Subordinate clause, obviously main clause, which is called principal clause also. Another is subordinate clause. Main clause is an independent clause, but subordinate clause cannot stand alone. It is always dependent upon the main clause. And the same is the definition. Main clause expresses a complete thought and can be used on its own as a sentence. But subordinate clause does not express a complete thought and cannot stand by itself and depends upon another clause. Now see. I will wait till he comes. I will wait, main clause. Till he comes, dependent clause. They asked why I was late. Why I was late? Complete sentence. They asked what? After they asked, a question arises. So that is dependent clause, which is subordinate clause. Further, see children, very nicely the difference between phrase, clause and sentence has been given in your book only. Phrase. No finite verb cannot stand on its own. Only one finite verb may or may not be able to stand on its own, but in sentence at least one finite verb or more, and they can always stand on its own. If a clause cannot stand on its own, means it is not independent one, then it is a part of a sentence. But if it can stand on its own and there is no dependency over another part, then of course it is called a sentence. Further, clauses are divided into two parts. Main clause, or we can call it principal clause. Another is subordinate clause. Main clause does not have any subpart, but yes, subordinate clause have three subparts. One is noun clause, another is adjective clause, and third is adverb clause. Now let's discuss one by one. The very first one is noun clause. If you remember, students, at the time of noun phrase, I told you that there is answer of what that we get in noun phrase. The same will be applicable with noun clause also. That we will get the answer of what, but the major difference between noun phrase and noun clause is that subject verb combination, subject object, subject predicate, these combinations will be there. You can see in the given examples, I know his wish. His wish means noun phrase. It does not have any subject or object or predicate combination. So I know his wish. His wish means phrase. But I know what he wants. That is noun clause. I know his house. That is noun phrase. I know where he lives. Subject plus verb is there. So obviously it is noun clause. A dependent clause. Of course, noun clause is a subordinate clause. It's a part of subordinate clause that functions as a noun in a sentence, which is called noun clause. Noun clause can be introduced by these connectors, and these connectors can be a pronoun, adverb, or conjunction. And as I have already told you, that instead of any other WH family member, we will get the answer of what? I know what, who he is. I know in all these sentences, I know is given, so only one question is there, that is what, and the answer of what we will get in noun phrase. I know what, where he has gone. I don't know what, whether he will come back or not. Noun clauses act like noun phrase. It clearly means that noun clauses may be subject, object, complement, or object of preposition. Example, if it is used in the subject part of the sentence, what he says is true. What is true? What he says. If it is in the object part, object means in predicate part, then of course the formation would be I don't understand. What you don't understand? What he says. I don't know. What you don't know? Why he left this place. So in subject part, in object part, noun clause can be used. It can be there. Complement. The problem is that there is no one to help us. What is the problem? That there is no one to help us. And in object of preposition, you should pay attention to. I was not aware of. She is against. Here, to, of, against. These are prepositions, and noun clause is used after prepositions. So that's why it is said object of preposition. Next is complement of adjective. He is not sure where she lives. She lives. I am confident that he will pass. It is doubtful whether he will be able to come. So, the words which describe noun, they are called adjective, and here noun clause works as complement of adjective also. There can be noun plus noun clause, but in apposition. Apposition means side by side. The rumor that he has gone bankrupt is baseless. What rumor that he has gone bankrupt is baseless means two contradictory statements. The report that he had died is true. The fact that she is hardworking is beyond doubt. The idea that the earth is flat was proved wrong long back. Now, children, on the basis of your understanding noun clause, easily you can do exercise number 1. Another we have adjective clause. Students, you all know that adjectives are the words which describe noun. I hope it's clear that adjectives are the words which describe noun. But if some describing words are there and they have a subject verb, subject object combination, then of course it is adjective clause. In noun clause we got the answer of what? In adjective clause we will get the answer of which, who and whose. Now look at the examples. She is a very beautiful girl. Very beautiful adjective phrase. But she is a girl who is very beautiful. It is a clause because it has a subject and a predicate. Always remember that adjective clause acts as an adjective in a sentence. It qualifies the noun or pronoun. Further, it is usually introduced by a relative pronoun who, whose, which, what, and are introduced by when, where, why. That's why adjective clause is called relative clause also. You can see in these examples, this is the book which. I met a friend whose. This is the house where. I don't know the time when. These all are relative pronoun clause, and they are describing, they are telling more about noun or pronoun in the sentence, and since they have a subject verb combination, subject object combination, so they are called clause. Next we have, in some sentences the relative pronoun means objective case can be omitted. I saw the house he bought. We are not going to add which. The girls he praised were delighted. We are not going to add these relative pronoun because sometimes in some sentences the relative pronoun objective case can be omitted. Now look at the exercise. The girls who do such things are stupid. Here the girls have been described by a proper adjective clause. The boy whom I met yesterday lent me a book. Here the boy has been described that whom I met yesterday. We are talking about that particular boy only, so that is adjective clause. Further we have adverb clause. Adverb, something more is added with the verb. Adverb means a word that modifies verb. A dependent clause that functions as an adverb in a sentence is called an adverb clause. Like adverbs or adverbial phrases, adverbial clause express when, where, why, how something occur. With these examples, students, you must understand the difference between adverb, adverbial phrase, or adverbial clause. He solved the sum easily. Adverb. He solved the sum with ease. Adverbial phrase. He solved the sum as if it was easy. That is adverbial clause. Further, kinds of adverb clauses are given. They are quite easy to understand. They are total 9 in number, and with a click in few seconds you will understand them. I am 100% sure. Adverb clause. The very first is adverb clause of condition. Condition says that if, unless, whether are there in a sentence, means through subordinate conjunction if, unless, whether they are connected, they are there in the sentence, that is called adverb clause of condition. If you work hard, you will pass, otherwise not. If he had worked hard, he would have passed. He had not worked hard, so he is not passed. She must come whether she likes it or not. So in adverb clause of condition, conditions are introduced by subordinating conjunction if, unless, and whether. Another is adverb clause of comparison. In adverb clause of comparison, for comparison we have two signal words, as or like, and the same are used in the sentence. So adverb clause of comparison are generally introduced by as, then, like. He is as intelligent as his brother. I can run as fast as my friend. There must be two people, person, or things for the comparison, and then adverb clause of comparison can be applied by using as, then, or like. Next is adverb clause of concession or contrast. Contrast clearly means two opposing ideas. Students, I have tried my level best to write down the simpler meanings also in the book, so that when you will be understanding this chapter, you will hardly face any problem. So concession, contrast means two opposing ideas. Adverb clauses of concession or contrast are introduced by the conjunctions although, though, however, even if. Obviously some connectors are required, whether they are subordinating conjunction or coordinating conjunction or simple conjunction. Of course some connectors are required. Although he is poor, he is honest. Two contradictory statements are there. Though he is intelligent, he is lazy. One positive, one negative. That's why it is called adverb clause of concession or contrast, where two opposing ideas are there. Another we have adverb clause of purpose. In adverb clause of purpose, obviously purpose of main verb. What main verb is doing, that is mentioned, and they are always introduced by so that, in order that, in case, lest, etc. Examples: walk fast lest you should miss the train. Always remember, students, that whenever there is lest in the sentence, it is always paired by should. It is always paired with should. He died so that his countrymen might live. Here clearly I have written, children, that purpose of main verb: died, walked fast, worked hard, went, take. These all are main verbs. And what is the use? What is the purpose of these verbs? That is there in adverb clause of purpose. Another is adverb clause of reason. Reason means why something was done. They are always introduced by because, since, etc. I brought umbrella because it was raining. He could not go to school because he was ill. If there is a reason, then adverb clause of reason is there. I shall not attend the party as I am not feeling well. There is a reason for not attending the party that comes in adverb clause of reason. Adverb clause of result. Something is done, then what is the result? What is the outcome of that action? They are always expressed by so that, such that. It was so dark that we could not see anything. She is so weak that she cannot walk. Adverb clause of result means what is the outcome of the action. Next is adverb clause of place. Place obviously means where or wherever. Obviously, place means where or wherever. She went where her son took her. You can go wherever you like. Where there is a will, there is a way, and so on. In adverb clause of place, the place of action is mentioned. Next is adverb clause of manner. What does manner show? That how the person is, how the action was taken place, in which manner, how. Adverb clause of manner are expressed by as if. You should follow the leader as we follow him. She should act as her teacher advises, means in the same manner, in which manner. Such things are there in adverb clause of manner, and we get the answer of how. Adverb clauses of time. What we will get in this adverb clauses of time, children? Of course, they are introduced by after, before, since, when, while, whenever, till, etc. In adverb clause of place, we got the answer of where. So when time is there, so understood it is that we will get the answer of when. The thief had run away before the police arrived. The police arrived after the thief had run away. I have not met since he was a child. She had already gone when I came in. In all these examples, we are getting the answer of when, and they are shown by these prepositions. Conjunctions. I hope, children, that till here you all have seen the video carefully. You have tried your level best to understand the explanation. Now, please do the exercise so that the things will be clearer to you. With this, wish you all the best and keep doing your work well on time. We will meet in our next video lecture with a new topic. Till then, goodbye. Take care.